Hey you, it's me, Nicole Phoenix Star, and this is the Next Star podcast. Today I wanted to talk about the very well used idea of setting boundaries. After last week's podcast around self-betrayal, I got a lot of messages from people saying how it landed so deeply in them and how helpful it was, and just shifting that perspective. And so I wanted to go a little bit deeper with that, and into the idea of boundaries. And this is something that I have been talking about this week as well in my year-long container of awakened realization state. And that is, we have this idea of, connecting and communicating with people. And if someone is perhaps behaving badly or, not behaving in the way that you like, you feel that you need to set a boundary with them so that you aren't affected by their said behaviors. And it's a very outward looking ideal. And it's, that person I need to set a boundary with, and I need to keep my boundaries in this scenario and all of that. And it's because of them. And in the realm of, self-accountability and emotional maturity and these types of things, we need to self-reflect. And the truth of the matter is that the reason why you need to set a boundary with someone is because you can't hold yourself in neutrality around them. You are either triggered by them, or you will accommodate them, or you will go into some form of self-betrayal because of their behavior. And so if we're looking through the lens of accountability, it's kind of irrelevant of how other people behave. It's how you're able to remain stable no matter what the scenario, no matter what the behaviors. So if someone's triggering you, or you find yourself acting out of your own integrity or own congruence, or yelling and screaming like a banshee because basically they're a big fat dick, you have, not able to hold your grace. You're not able to hold your frequency. You're not able to hold your ability to remain neutral or aligned or congruent to yourself. And so rather than going, that person behaves badly, so I need to pull a boundary, it's like, I am still triggered around that person, so I don't go into self-betrayal. I create a boundary to support myself. See? That's a completely different view. You're taking self-responsibility. Just went off my phone asking me if I'll be writing today. And so again, if you feel like, there's someone that you need to pull a boundary with, really recognize, what is it that they're saying or doing that triggers you so much? What is it that you're taking personally? What is it that you accommodate in them that makes you feel like you're self-betraying or you feel bad? And see if you can find a way to hold your frequency in that, because ultimately that's the goal, no matter how people behave or how people communicate or how people carry on, that you're not affected by that. And, absolutely we are human, and human behaviors can be very affecting. But what if you're able to show up and recognize either someone's in their own pain, so they're just seeing who they can throw it at, or someone's, simply got a level of emotional maturity that they don't know how to engage appropriately. It's not about you. It's how you react to their behaviors. And, there are absolutely times where the boundary of no contact is appropriate. Like, there is in no universe that there's any point in trying to engage with that person, because they are so attached to their belief, and nothing you could ever say, no matter how wise, no matter how truthful, no matter how bold. And so it's not that you're protecting yourself from their craziness or their illusions. It's just not worth your time. Like, it's simply having the responsibility to know where to waste your time, to use your time wisely, etc. And, if there is someone that triggers you and you feel you need to have boundaries with them, really look at what it is they're saying that pierces you so much. Like, is there actually an element of truth in it that's why it's affecting you so much? Because sometimes there is, and they are just the messenger, not the asshole. And you can go, actually, it's really triggering me because an element of what they're saying is kind of true in a weird kind of way, just a part of it. And it's really annoying me that they're saying that, because they're way worse behaved than me. And there's just this story that you go around and around and around in. But if someone's like simply, not emotionally very mature, has not a very great awareness or global or experience or street smarts, like, just accept that, that is who they are. And that's where they're at in their evolution. And I don't need them to be, engaging with me at my level, because that's actually impossible. So I'm affected by their behavior when that's just where they're at. And really looking at it rather than just being in reaction mode, rather than just looking externally at the annoying thing in front of you. So, yeah, when we look at ways that we self-betray, we can look at, different kind of subsections of that. And one is the famous boundaries place. And, people applaud those, I had to put in a boundary because I'm not going to let them treat me that way. It's like, well, why are you so affected by their behavior? What if it didn't matter? What if you could just see them for where they're at and not be so reactive, so emotionally affected? Really look at what is it that's stirring you up. And if it's the fact that they're just operating from the dick level, just accept that and decide whether you want to communicate with them or not. Because, you know, we wish people to behave in a way that suits us. We wish that all people behaved in alignment with our values and our beliefs. And that's just insanity, because we're not all the same, and there's so many times where we're in interactions with others and it's just like, I just wish that, they accepted me for who I am. But you're not willing to accept them for who they are? It's a very, very potent question. All we want to do is to be accepted for who we are. And when we're not, we get really offended and upset. And why can't they just respect me for who I am? And then turn around and judge people and think people should behave differently and wish them to be different. But don't recognize that we actually wish people would accept us for who we are, but we're not willing to accept people for who they are. And all of this messiness is just a really big recipe for suffering, because we want people to behave differently. We want people to treat us differently. And it never happens. And so again, stepping back and going, okay, what do I need to do in this situation where I won't self-betray, I won't accommodate, I won't tiptoe, I won't turn into a screaming banshee, I won't let myself down? Can I practice just accepting that's where they're at? And I don't have to agree with it, I don't have to like it, but I don't have to be triggered and I don't have to get upset. It's a great inquiry and it's a great thing to practice. So, yeah, I love these conversations that come out of these sharings, and it's, that mastery that so many of us are actively in, and human relating is a great classroom to practice said things, and especially, practicing in places that are triggering or feel hard. They're the best places to practice. and listen and see if you can not be emotionally reactive, and look at the things they're saying and see if there is any truth in what they're saying. And it may not be, in the context or the content that they're providing you, but a drop or a thread of, actually there is something in there for me. God damn it. Or this is complete opposite of what I think and believe. Like they're telling me the sky is red, and I truly believe it's not. So I'm not going to fight with them and yell and scream at them to tell them it's not. Just accept that that's their belief today, and no amount of me carrying on is going to make any difference except use a lot of energy and feel like a waste of time. So that is my share today. Thank you so much for listening. I am so grateful. Please feel free to share this with anyone that you may feel benefits from this conversation. And my website is www.nickstar.com, Nikstar. Much love. Mwah.